Hello, my name's Tiernay-Jones. I'm a journalist on beer, food, travel and pubs. And I'm here to talk about my new book, United Kingdom of Beer. And my guest here is 𝗕𝗲𝗵𝗴. It's the head brewer of 𝗕𝗲𝗵 Tap, which is where we are sitting at the moment. I seem to come here quite often, I think.
Yes.
So, welcome.
Thank you.
And what we're going to do is we're going to go through 6 beers that are in the book, United Kingdom of Beer. And I will explain the reason why I picked them, and we will talk about what they taste like. We will thankfully taste them, as I've just said, and we'll just generally have some fun. So, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. And I think the great thing about them is that some of these beers are local to us.
Yes,
and,
yeah.
Powder Keg, Utopian, and Stannery, and we also got them from Hops and Craft in Exeter.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of a local theme going on here as well. So I think we'll start on the first one.
Yeah, sounds good.
This is Powder Keg. A few years ago, if I'd written this book, I wouldn't have had a no alcohol, a low alcohol category. This is 1.2%. It's called Green Light, and it's a quarter IPA. The thing about IPA nowadays is that there's an IPA for everything. I mean, I often think that IPAs are almost like a big mirror that's been chucked on the floor and splintered. There's a New England IPA over there, there's a black IPA over there for the contrarians, there's a quarter IPA. So we're going to try this now. And it's quite an ideal beer to start our lunchtime session.
Yeah, slow and approachable.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, it's lovely. It smells, it's got a little bit of like resiny kind of citrus fruit.
And there's a nice little sort of malt backbone, some caramel
Yeah,
notes.
certainly is there. Yeah.
I mean, it's got a great nose to it, I think. I mean, this would be a great beer. I'd see this as a beer. You don't want anything too heavy. And you've got some friends round in the garden in the summer, the barbecue's on.
Yeah, certainly.
This is a great barbecue beer.
Yeah, lawnmower beer.
A lawnmower, definitely. Even though a brewer of my acquaintance said that a 10% barley wine was his lawnmower beer.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a great beer, this is. Incidentally, it's my beer of the week in the Daily Star on Friday. Should we go on to the next one?
Yeah, sounds good.
Right, we've gone to the other end of Somerset for this, near Radstock, which I think is quite a rural area. And this is from Yonder Brewery, and it's called Boogie, and it's a bitter. This is the sort of beer that, it's the bedrock of British brewing in the last 50 years or so, but there's a difference about this. I mean, you've had Yonder here, haven't you?
Quite a few times. Yeah.
They're
really
quite an interesting outfit.
Yeah.
They use they do a lot of foraging. To make some weird and wonderful beers. They also use mixed fermentation, and for this bitter, they've used a special yeast called 𝗕𝗲𝗵𝗴, rhymes with Mike, which comes out of the Scandinavian homebrewing scene. Have you used 𝗕𝗲𝗵𝗴?
No, I've got some in my fridge, but I haven't used it yet. That's a future project, yeah.
It's supposed to be, it ferments at quite a high temperature.
You can ferment it up to, I think, something crazy like 38 degrees, which is obscene really for a yeast, and still get quite a clean fermentation.
Yeah,
so,
that's what people have said to me when I've written about it. I mean, I'm picking up a sort of a little bit of toasty, bready notes on the nose.
Yeah, a little bit of biscuity as well.
Yeah.
It's certainly bitter. It's got that a fairly assertive bitterness, but definitely a little tropical note as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's a lovely beer, I think. It's actually, I haven't had it for a while, and it's really, really good. Again, this is, this could be a social beer, but I'm thinking, and I'm going to be a bit contentious here. I think this is more of a bucolic beer. This is the sort of beer in which you can think about the countryside. Given about Yonder's way, in the way they use forage materials and everything, I think this is you've had a nice long walk in the countryside. Yeah. You fancy something that's going to really slake your thirst. And I think this is definitely one for
Certainly,
it.
Yeah.
Got a lovely claret. It's a slight haze on it, but which is everything's, hazy these days.
It is a modern bitter, so that's all right.
I think it's that lovely dryness on the finish is absolutely gorgeous. Yeah. Right, the next one. This is 𝗕𝗎𝗄cy Brewery from Southampton, and it's an IPA, a New England IPA.
Yeah.
And you've made New England IPAs, haven't you?
Quite a few, yeah.
Yeah, hazy, juicy pales.
Yeah.
Again, it goes back to that whole thing about IPAs. There's a whole family tree of IPAs these days. I've just been told I need to pour a bit higher, so yeah, we definitely got the haze here, but it's not so hazy as to look like Sunny Delight orange juice.
No, quite an attractive haze actually.
Yeah, and there's a nice sort of firm collar of foam. I think from what I did talk to the brewer, Jimmy Hatherley, and he said this has Mosaic, which is standard for the Mosaic hop, which is standard for New England IPA, but it also puts in Columbus to give it a bit more of a bitterness. Because New England IPAs aren't that bitter, are they?
No, usually quite low. Mosaic and Columbus, you can expect some dankness there.
Yeah, there is that hint of dankness, and there's also spelt is added to alongside the malts, and that's an ancient grain. I don't really know what it does, but probably gives it a bit more mouthfeel.
Yeah.
Oh, that is juicy.
It is juicy,
It's fruity. It's got, I would say, citrus, tropical fruit. I often think about mangoes sitting in a bowl, ripe in a sunny kitchen, that aroma arising from the bowl.
Being allowed to overheat a little.
The one I always used to think about, which I should have copyrighted actually, was an old Hollywood starlet who used to dance with bananas and pineapples on her head. I've forgotten her name actually. Not Isadora Duncan. No, that was someone else. I can't remember it. But yeah, this is.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's not that ridiculous tropical fruit bomb, but there is some of that there. It's actually a little bit more of the resin and dank kind of side of New England, which is nice.
Would you say this was a good introduction to the style?
Yeah, certainly.
If you want to find out what New England IPAs are about, then I'd think '90's Collision is a great way to start.
Yeah.
Would you say?
Agree,
yeah. Don't drink too much of it because I think it's about 6% something.
Yeah, 6.2. Yeah.
I think that's lovely. Right, we're moving back into Devon now via Czechia. This is Utopian Brewery's Tiernay-Jones, which is a dark Czech lager. And this is a great beer to go with food, especially if you manage to have those massive pork knuckles they serve in restaurants in Prague. The sort of things that I'd never go too near the Hlava in case they fall in and never come out again. It's a beer, again, you've had this on quite a lot here at the tap.
I love it.
Yeah, it's always one I go for. And it says it's brewed by Utopian Brewery, and this is a Czech dark lager, and do you know what the difference between this and a German dark lager would be?
I couldn't tell you, no.
Oh, right. I thought you were a brewer.
Not a lager brewer.
But yeah, I think the difference would be a German Dunkel would have a lot more biscuity notes. This is a lot more smoother, a lot more mellow. It's 5.9%, so it's not something you drink too many pints of. Again, don't go too near the Hlava if you're in Prague. Actually, if we're next to it, it'd be the X-River, wouldn't it, of course?
Yeah.
Oh, it's lovely. It's got espresso beans.
Yeah.
Grains.
A little bit of dark chocolate there as well.
And also berries.
Yeah. That. Yeah.
I mean, but you get that with coffee anyway, don't you?
Yeah.
You
it is sort of a berry, isn't it? Coffee. It's a beet. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this has got a
cherry.
long, lingering nose. It's absolutely, enchanting.
When would you drink it, or what would you drink it for? Is there any?
This would be great with food. This is a beer. There's a sweetness, isn't there, mid-palate, but it would wrap itself round a burger.
Yeah.
It would envelop it if it was taking it for a dance.
Yeah, it's got a fair bit of body for a lager, really.
Yeah.
And 5.9%.
And the carbonation would cut through the fat of the burger. I think it would be. So when you good with pizza though, the pizza's outside.
Yeah. Doesn't go.
I think it's a great food beer, but it's a great beer on its own as well. But it's definitely, it is worthy of inclusion in my book.
Yeah.
United Kingdom of beer, by the way. Right, we're going to go all spiritual now. This is a Trappist beer from Leicestershire. Now, there are 12 Trappist breweries in the world, and this is the only one in Britain. It's Mont St Bernard Abbey, and the monks oversee it. For it to be a Trappist beer, you know the... Oh, yeah, of course, sorry, you need the bottle. For a beer to be designated a Trappist beer, it has to be overseen or brewed by the monks. So they're obviously going to drink it from a bottle.
No. It'd be a bit rude, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I often think that Trappist beers are the sort of ultimate collaboration beers between the secular world of brewing and the contemplative spiritual world of monks and prayer and everything. I mean, brewing is a bit like prayer. It is doing the same thing every day, very slowly. I mean, you know, because as a brewer, I couldn't do it. I like to do different things, but you have to do a lot of the same stuff every day, don't you, really?
Yeah, certainly. But I mean, the process is very similar each time, but we try and brew as many different things as possible. But
yeah, you should wear a robe and
yeah.
But and the beer's name is 𝗕𝗲𝗲𝗿𝗀, and this would be the contemplative beer. This would be the spiritual beer. This would be a beer to study. This would be a beer to take your time over. That's what I would be saying on this one. You know, you're looking for a beer, you know, that evening quiet, that time when you might have a book that you really been looking forward to read, or maybe you're just sitting there thinking about your thoughts, thinking about the day. This is the sort of beer I would use for this one.
Yeah, certainly one to think about. I would agree. It's there's fruit in there, like sort of dark raisiny fruit there. Bit figgy. I mean, it's beautiful. It's a pretty good example of a Trappist style ale.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Lovely.
I mean, I'm a great fan of Trappist beers. I mean,
especially dark ones.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, one of my favourite brewery visits has been to 𝗕𝗲𝗲 in Wallonia, you know, the Trappist brewery there, and I was lucky enough to drink draft 𝗕𝗲𝗲, which was with the head brewer, which was fantastic.
Yeah.
But this, I mean, I'd like to go to this place as well. But yeah, look at it. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's got great lacing on it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's sort of nuts as well, and it's a sort of beer you really will take your time over. So that is why I would call it a contemplative beer. Right, shall we go on to our final beer? We're going back local again. This is Dartmoor, which I used to live on Exmoor, and I always felt that Exmoor was a funny old place. I don't know what Dartmoor's like. And this is Tavistock. This is Stannery Brewery, and they're a good bunch of lads, aren't they? We've met them a few times, and this is we've gone 8.1% now, and this is this is a double IPA called Repeat Offender, which they produce twice a year. I've had this a few times. It's lovely. Oh, look, we're really in the hazy, juicy territory.
Actually smelt it before I finished pouring there as well.
Oh, right.
So, yeah. Big hop character.
Flipping heck. It's like the hops leap out of it like acrobats, you know, in the circus or something. And if I was saying what sort of beer is this is your final beer of the night.
Yeah.
This is a lively beer, but you don't want it to be too lively. You don't drink too many pints of this, do you?
No, certainly
not. Well, you could.
There's beers that you drink and there's beers you experience. And it's definitely an experience.
I think it's too... I mean, I was talking about the contemplative beer. This could be a contemplative beer, but I think because of the brightness and the colour of the aromatics from the hops, I think this is a lot more... You know, maybe even social with friends, end of the night, you know, share a can. Yeah. Oh, it's just that nose, it's just hops. You know, it's like you can, in a brewery, you know, both of us have visited a lot of breweries, and you open a bag of hops, and that aroma
that's not too dissimilar.
out.
Yeah. I mean, that is it's got that such a fresh hop character to it. Super fruity.
And it's got a lovely mouthfeel.
Yeah.
And there's that tropical, there's that tropical, Carmen Miranda is the person I was thinking about from Hollywood. It's got Carmen Miranda sashaying across the screen.
Is that a beer you can have with food at all? But that's not a yes/no answer. It's a
cheese?
Possibly. I suppose cheese, yeah.
Do you think it could be with food?
Difficult
cheese,
thing
perhaps?
to pair, isn't it? Because it's just so fruity. So
it's quite boozy in a lot of ways, but in a good way. When you sometimes say a beer is boozy, it's not integrated. The alcohol is integrated into this one. I think it's an absolutely gorgeous beer.
It is.
And it's great that, they're only, 25 miles away? I think the whole beer scene in the Southwest has really become absolutely fantastic.
It's getting better every year, really.
And of course, your beers as well.
Of course.
I've got to say that. So anyway, don't forget, the book's name is United Kingdom of Beer, and you can find out more about it at the link below, and you can start your journey. And thanks, Declan. Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers.